Subscribe or they will haunt you. People of Reddit, what terrible path in life no one should ever take? Before you have sex with anyone, think about the worst case scenario. I have a son with a woman that I don't want to have any association with. I have to live with that for the rest of my life. Luckily, she abandoned him a few years ago, and we haven't seen her in almost 10 years, but it still really sucks for him. Self-harm. I started when I was 11 and am still doing it at 25. I know it's bad and wrong and gross, but at this point it's such an entrenched part of my identity that I don't know who I'm without it. All that said, 19 days clean y'all, bless up. Never putting in effort. Taking the easy way because it's safe. Get out of your comfort zone, impress yourself. Even if you made a bad financial decision, you will overcome it. You'll be used to being uncomfortable. Teen pregnancy is one of the easiest ways to enter poverty. If someone in your life is at risk of becoming a teen parent, please try to support them as much as you can and see if you can change their life. Abortion, adoption, and overall family planning are so important in order to avoid lifelong poverty that can affect generations. Might get flack for this, but being a sugar baby, I've known quite a few people who found they could live comfortably just using their appearance. Every one of them has ended up with serious issues later in life. They end up coasting through the phase where they should have been setting themselves up to be self-sufficient. Then once their appearance fades, they find themselves competing against high school kids for minimum wage. Not to mention the psychological toll from the lifestyle. Now with the rise of things like OnlyFans, I think a lot of young people are gonna end up in this basket. I know this isn't a healthy relationship, but at least I've found someone. I ignored so many warning signs over the years. Over half my life with the same woman. After our son was born, our relationship changed. I was too busy supporting the family through 50 to 60 hour weeks. I didn't pay attention to all the changes. I didn't see until it was too late how bad her drinking became. When she hit 38, it's like a light switch flipped. Went from passively aggressive bitchiness to full on alcoholic narcissistic abuser. And I just let it happen. I didn't try to stop her. Just tried to maintain the everything is fine mentality. I wouldn't wish what I went through on anyone. Please, don't do what I did. Don't just settle if you're being hurt. My mom has been divorced with my dad since I was 2 and hasn't been married since. Unfortunately, she just gets into a relationship as soon as she can with anyone for the sake of just wanting to be with someone. I understand that she doesn't want to be lonely, but seriously, she is terrible at dating. I've actually learned a thing or two from her because I noticed things she did wrong. Like only do stuff she wanted to do and never do stuff she wanted to. She tried to get married to one of her boyfriends that she had only known for 3 months on leap day, which is fine and all, but it actually isn't, because she wanted to do the same with her boyfriend before that, meaning that she wanted to get married and she didn't care to whom. She also tries to get a new boyfriend as soon as she can after breaking up with the last one, but still hasn't let go of the last one. It's honestly sad, and I know it's because she doesn't want to be lonely, and I want to help her, but she probably wouldn't listen and would mock me. I mean, what would a dumb, unobservant teenager know? Neglecting your own health. Used to think I'm damn near invincible because I'm still young. Worked about 70 hours a week just for that damn raise. Neglected health checkups just because I can. Got diagnosed with glaucoma and my left eye is quite fucked up. Not sure what the future holds for me, but I'm damn sure taking care of my body now. Not the worst, but procrastination. It becomes a habit really fast, from my experience. Edit. I never stopped procrastinating, which is something that I hate. Sorry if the comment is a bit misleading, but I don't have any advice on how to stop, since I'm unable to myself. I'll start exercising tomorrow. I'll clean up later. I started saying these things years ago and only recently started running again. Edit. I used to be able to do 300 sit-ups almost every day. Now, I can barely 35, but that's progress from when I could only do 10. Don't self-medicate with booze and or drugs, the former being my problem for years. Find out the reason why you want to self-medicate in the first place and get the appropriate help/guidance. Also, don't self-medicate with food. Never take the path of I know better than everyone else. Even the absolute dumbest person can teach you something. Same goes for a person a lot younger than you or someone you can't respect. Always be willing to learn and grow. Living on other people's opinions. I fairly often ask other people's opinion on me cause they can see me more objectively than I can. Edit. I never said I rely on other opinions. I have a certain opinion about myself and the things I do, and by asking others for their opinion on me, I'm checking if I'm right or wrong. I hear their opinion, process it and decide if I think they're right or wrong. It's certainly better for self-improvement than disregarding anything anyone tells you, at least in my opinion. Marrying for money. My mom lives around a sea of housewives who will want to leave their husbands, but can't because they've never had a career and wouldn't be able to survive on their own financially. Toxic friends or family. Offload those people. Life is too short for that kind of stress. This is absolutely true. Don't feel like you have to be the better sibling to people who treat you like garbage. There is a reason so many people live so far away from family members. Joining an MLM. It's a financial disaster unless you are one of the very few people who are in at the beginning or have a large following that will buy what you sell and have proven this already. MLM products are expensive and low quality, and the way they make money is predatory and not logically possible for anyone not at the top of the scheme. Don't buy MLM. You are only enabling your friends, family, acquaintances, etc. to stay in this scam for longer and lose more money in the long run. If you do, you will not be helping them. Just like you wouldn't give alcohol to an alcoholic, don't give money to an MLM, no matter who is selling it. Taking the road that's expected of you, marriage, kids, career etc. without contemplating if it's the right thing for you. I always felt impending doom at the thought of having kids and tearing up my vagina, and then one day it clicked and I suddenly realized I don't have to have kids at all if I don't want to. It was like a £1 million weight was taken off me, plus the added bonus of realizing I'm gay, so I'll never have any accidents. Trying to help a lame duck. As someone who's been burned multiple times because of this, I understand the temptation to save a lame duck yourself. You've got a spare bedroom you're not using, you've got some spare cash lying around, and all you want to do is help. It's a natural human response. The problem is, the help that they need has to come from qualified professionals, or a state institution, or even their own family. You're not even remotely qualified to provide that help yourself. All you will be doing is shouldering a financial and emotional burden that will only drag you down with them, or you will have to cut them loose, which is also painful. Think of it like this: if you found a literal lame duck, you'd take it to a vet, rather than try and fix it yourself. It's the same principle for metaphorical ones. Owning so many big shiny things like a large house and 2 nice cars that you have no choice but to toil away at your high paying but time consuming job, which you may not like, at least not for the rest of your career. Yet, you lay awake at night, scared that you might get fired from a job you hate. So you can't pay for the big shiny things you've started to believe one cannot live without. Not giving a shit about school. One should consider him/herself lucky that they get to attend school and get an opportunity for a higher education. I know many people that either couldn't afford to go to school or didn't care, and their lives aren't what they thought they would be. I'm currently in high school, and until this year I haven't given much of a shit about school. I was one of those kids who thought I could coast along with my natural smarts. I had a kind of a revelation when I realized I won't be able to do what I want to if I don't put my ass into high gear. Now I'm working my ass off trying to learn new things and improve my GPA so that I can get into the school of my dreams. But wish me luck. No matter how boomer this may sound, but just taking in every piece of information you get as true. I laugh at those picture of a mindless generation, but we do need to be careful because as soon as a book says something, we take it as true. Never forget to think for yourself. Having kids at a young age. I know I sound shitty, but when I heard a friend was moving on and his girlfriend was pregnant, they are 21, I couldn't help but think how depressing their lives are going to be. Basically they are stuck in the same town they were born, both without a reliable job, so their economical situation is not that good and so on. But having a baby seems to be the best decision. Sorry for broken English. Being a teacher in the USA. Maybe it was different and a good career at one point. However, those days are long gone. The long hours and low pay aren't even the worst part. Those are problems many jobs have. The worst parts are the martyrdom, being treated like crap. I left and I'm looking into retail again because I was treated better. Isn't that a scary thought? Having everything be your fault and realizing through it all that the school system doesn't even prioritize actually helping students, which makes all the prior problems so much more pointless and terrible. Living a life guided by what you see on social media. Social comparison, especially upward social comparison, is something we all do, and at times it can be a positive motivational force for us to better our lives, to match those of others, or it can be a negative one that make us feel shittier about ourselves. The thing about social media, however, is that it plays into the negatives of social comparison, as people, whether our friends, family, or celebrities, tend to only share the highlights of their lives on social media. Whether it's a vacation at an exotic location, an accomplishment such as graduation, and in general just the nicer parts of life. This leads to an unrealistic perception that other people's lives are all sunshine and rainbows, in comparison to our own dull lives. When viewed from the lens of social media, the fact is that life for everyone isn't actually as interesting as we think it is. But yet our warped view of it becomes an unattainable benchmark that some would fall into the trap of setting for themselves. We come to be deceived into believing that if our lives aren't all hunky-dory, then we are failing at life. Intrinsically, it may make us less content with our own lives, less grateful for what we have, bitter even. Extrinsically, we may end up doing a lot of unnecessary things to delude others and ourselves that our lives are just as great, overcompensating by doing things that we aren't actually intrinsically happy doing, but just for the sake of embellishing our lives for the gram. After all, if we are comparing our lives to others on social media, they'd be comparing theirs to ours too, right? Well, I better look damn good for it then. When in reality, most people don't care much about how you live your life. They are too busy with those